Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's such a wonderful, wonderful Thursday afternoon here in Dallas, Texas, and I am so grateful to God for blessing all of us to live to see another day. It is such a wonderful, wonderful time in our lives. And if you don't think so, just look around, take a look, even think about situations. And if you're not where you want to be, I'm praying for you and with you that you will be where you want to be according to the will of God. Okay? Dear God, as I sit before you to speak, I pray to you that my soul you will keep. And if I should die before I finish, I pray to you, dear God, in the name of Jesus, that any outstanding sins will be forgiven. It's a wonderful, wonderful day. When is it time to shut it down, take a break, and recuperate? When is it time to shut it down, take a break, and recuperate? And for some of us, it's right now. So I'm going to go into some great information that I have for you. And with the AI here in the being.com, when is it time to shut it down and take a break? When is it time to shut it down? It's important to recognize the signs that indicate it's time to take a break. So here are some key signs to look out for, okay? Some key signs to look out for. And this is being.com. Increased anxiety. If you find yourself feeling gloomier than usual and experiencing heightened anxiety, it may be time to take a break. So I'll repeat that. Increased anxiety. If you find yourself feeling gloomier than usual and experiencing heightened anxiety, it may be time to take a break, as I repeat that. Then there's the second part, second dot here, uh, physical symptoms, changes in how you relate to others, physical symptoms, and how you cope mentally and emotionally are important indicators. Then there's a loss of interest. These are signs that it's time to shut it down and take a break. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me know you're here. And if you want to remain incognito, that is great with me. I'm just so glad you are here with me today. And I ask you, as I often do, and I'm really serious about this because someone in your circle, some of the people that are friends with you on Facebook, some of the people that follow you on TikTok, YouTube, wherever you are on social media, and even those who might not be on social media, but you have phone contacts and you message them and all, please share these webcasts with them because somebody, I guarantee, I have no doubt in my mind that someone needs this information that I'm blessed to relay to the world. And then there could be a loss of interest. A notable loss of interest in activities you once enjoyed can be a sign that something is off. Then there's the next one, self care and neglect. If you're able to engage in basic self care, or if you're unable, excuse me, to engage in basic self care like exercise and eating well, it could be a sign to take a break. Then the next point here is overwhelm. Overwhelm. Some people just ignore these signs, and in so many ways, they break down emotionally, physically, mentally. Yes, yes. So, overwhelm, a sense of overwhelm and inability to cope with issues, big and small, can indicate that it is time to step back. Taking a break is essential, okay? Taking a break is essential for maintaining mental and physical health. Ignoring these signs, you hear this? It's crucial that you pay attention to these signs. And sometimes we don't know what's happening. We say, I don't feel like this. I'm feeling like this. And then we don't know, but this is why this information is put out here so that we will know when we have certain feelings and everything that this could indicate that this is what's happening to me. So overwhelm is a sense of overwhelm and inability to cope with issues, big and small, can indicate that it's time to step back. Taking a break is essential for maintaining mental and physical health. Ignoring these signs can lead to burnout and further stress, which can be detrimental to your overall well being. And it is so true. I remember decades ago, and I was always thinking of things, fundraisers for the church, and I was always thinking of things to do, just thinking, just thinking, just thinking. Without realizing I'm thinking, 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 but I'm always trying to do something to help the ministry that I was a part of and everything. And so one day I was sitting on, I think it might have still been Safeway at that time, the parking lot. And I was getting ready to go in. And my mind was just racing, trying to think of something, projects and things. And so the Spirit of God says, shut it down, stop. And I just stopped thinking as much as I could about trying to do this and that and the other. I halted right then and there. And I regrouped in my mind because I knew that I needed to rest my mind. And so I stopped the thinking about the project, and thank God I did. And then I followed that pattern that I had was developing, and I did a recuperation. I certainly did. I remember that so vividly. I had to stop thinking about trying to raise this and raise that and all. I had to stop thinking immediately and let my mind rest. And I was able to do it. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. Sometimes we have to stop. We have to rest, and that rest brings about recuperation. So, here are 4 signs your body is telling you it's time to take a break. 4 signs, and this is from time.com. 4 signs that your body is telling you it's time to take a break. So I'm going on into this. I had done everything on my tablet, but there's some things I need to do on this laptop. Here are 4 signs. On this computer. 4 signs. Your body is telling you it's time to take a break. This is time.com. This is really good. This is by Angela Haupt, Haupt. And this was released June the 10th in 2024, just a little over a year ago. So if the smoke alarm, and this is really makes sense, and I said, yes, that really makes sense. If the smoke alarm in your house were beeping frantically, you spring into action. I know I do because sometimes if we maybe let something overheat and some smoke accumulates, that thing will go off and it is loud. So if the smoke alarm in your house were beeping frantically, you'd spring into action. If your car alarm started whirring loudly, you'd investigate. Oh, yes. And if a tornado warning was issued for your neighborhood, you'd almost certainly take cover for sure. Yet, we're not so fast. Experts agree to react to the alarm bells ringing in our own body, letting us know we need to slow down. And have you ever known people who you say, how you doing? Oh, I'm just so busy. I'm just so busy. Ooh, I don't know when I'm going to get a break. But one thing we must realize is that we're in charge of our own schedules. And so as we follow on to know more, we will learn to schedule out so that we can have a break in between. And then sometimes, if we're overwhelmed, even with the schedule that we presently have, if we've scheduled other breaks and if we're overwhelmed, then we have to be able to initiate a postponement, set another date or something, or get some extra rest in between the time to go to that next appointment and the time of the last appointment. We have to do it to take care of ourselves. Stress on our bodies and minds cause physical and mental harm to us, and sometimes it's permanent. So the problem is because we don't listen to the alarm bells ringing in our own body that lets us know that it's time to slow down. The problem is we become conditioned early on to stop listening to our bodies. And this is what Jennifer King has said. She's an assistant professor of applied social sciences and an assistant director of the Center on Trauma and Adversity at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, Ohio. So that means we might miss important signs that manifest when we're navigating prolonged, repetitive, or unpredictable stress, the kind that affects many of us. We might not even know. We know we feel a certain way. I'm not feeling just right. What is it? Sometimes it's just plain old stress, and that stress can cause mental and physical problems. A cascade of changes happen in the body when the stress response is activated in a sustained way, King tells us. So when the dose is too big and there's not a clear beginning or end, that causes wear and tear on the body. Causes wear and tear on the body. So that's why it's so essential to pay close attention to the changes in how we relate to others, what we're experiencing physically, and how we are coping mentally and emotionally, and to be open to feedback from the people around us. Sometimes people can say, "Oh, you look so tired. Oh, you're acting, you're sluggish, you're acting like you don't feel well, you might need to take a break. We need to listen to people when they say that to us, the people that are close to us and care for us. We asked experts, the writer is saying, to explain what to look and listen for, plus what happens if we ignore what we find instead of addressing it. So you'll notice emotional changes. So if you haven't taken a break and need one, you might notice you feel gloomier than usual and are experiencing increased anxiety. Your mood can absolutely be affected, says Dr. Gerda Maysel, a physician in New York's Hudson Valley, who works as a patient advocate and helps people navigate the healthcare system. So your thoughts might start circling or whirling around on repeat in a loop, and you'll likely feel like you can't remember things or you can't find the name for something, she says. This is very important, so I'm going to repeat that. You'll notice emotional changes. So, we're going into some of the signs when you're really overwhelmed and you need to stop and take a break. You'll notice emotional changes. Your mood can absolutely be affected. Absolutely. Your thoughts might start circling and whirling around on repeat in a loop, and you'll likely feel like you can't remember things or you can't find the name for something, she says. These are good. These are good. Meanwhile, stress can deter you from enjoying activities you once relished. Haven't opened a book you've been looking forward to? No longer interested in that half finished knitting project? Consider it a hint that something is off. People who desperately need a break sometimes also lose the ability to engage in basic self care like exercise and eating well, Marcel says. You might feel engulfed too by a sense of overwhelm. Marcel has noticed that people with chronic stress are often unable to cope well with issues big and small. I call it tipping, she says. If you're like a plant on a seesaw and you've got stuff weighing you down and you're trying to keep everything in balance, eventually a lot of things will slide down with you. The people she works with get tearful, have outbursts, and can't make simple decisions because they're so overwhelmed. And you don't want to get like that if you haven't already been like that. And now this will help you to know how not to get so overwhelmed again because it's telling you when you need to stop, take a break, and recuperate. The next part here is your relationships will strain. Have you noticed you're experiencing new stress in your relationships with various people? Maybe you're grumpier than usual and snapping at your colleagues or blasting your horn at that guy who cut you off on the freeway. You might notice you're feeling a little more irritable or cranky. If you're finding that you want to isolate a little more and keep to yourself, if that's something you were not already doing, that can be because of stress. If a friend or family member approaches you about your mood, try not to get defensive or brush off their concern. Often other people are the first to notice the warning signs. That's for sure. Sometimes we can just be moving around and moving and all about our business, and other people are seeing the signs. Next part is you might catch a cold. This is if it's time for you to take a break. Stop, take a break, and recuperate. You might catch a cold. Cold. Stress can affect all of the body's systems, says Ashley Fields, a therapist in Indianapolis who specializes in women's issues and perinatal mental health. Research suggests it can weaken the immune system, for example, causing you to get sick more frequently. And she said that I have grad students I teach who often tell me that right after they graduate, they get a cold or some type of sickness, says Fields, who teaches master's level social work at Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. It's almost like their bodies finally stop running at high alert with classes and work and internships and need to heal. Wow. Next, your stomach and sleep will suffer. If you don't slow it down, take a break, and recuperate, your stomach and your sleep will suffer. You might also experience digestive difficulties like an upset stomach, constipation, or indigestion, as well as appetite changes that cause you to gain or lose weight. Stress often causes muscle tension, field saves, triggering headaches, jaw pain, and back and shoulder pain. We don't always realize how much tension we're holding in our bodies until we make it a point to intentionally observe what we're feeling and where, she adds. Your sleep might be affected too, feeling more tired than usual, or maybe you're sleeping fine, but you're exhausted when you climb out of bed. Both are pretty likely clues that you need to devote more time to rest and relaxation, Phil's notes. Next is the long term effects of not taking a break. The long term effects of not taking a break. So, when is it time to stop? When is it time to stop? When is it time to take a break? And when is it time to recuperate? These are great points here. And this is time.com. Long term effects of not taking a break. When we develop tunnel vision and orient our lives around our daily obligations, our body starts begging us oftentimes to slow down, says Dr. Christopher Thompson, who is a professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School and co director of the Center for Weight Management and Wellness at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Ignoring those pleas leads to a lot of our modern health problems. Wow. To understand why, consider that when we see a threat, we enter fight or flight mode, and our adrenal glands start releasing cortisol and adrenaline. So, that cortisol causes your body's tissues to release glucose into your blood because you need glucose to get energy to run away or fight. This is amazing, isn't it? And this is what Thompson is telling us. So, meanwhile, your insulin production will decrease and your blood vessels will tighten, which is okay for one short term event, like if you're in an emergency situation and need to defend yourself. But when we experience it for weeks, months, or even years without relief, we don't recover from those cortisol spikes, which become the norm. Is clearly really hurting our health. So if we get it for just a little bit, if we need to fight or if we need to take flight, if we need to stand and fight or run, whichever predicament is best for the situation, when we're in a predicament, whatever we need to do at that time, if this happens for that time, for a short term, it's okay. But when it continues, like she's saying, or he's saying, excuse me, when it continues, like if you're in an emergency situation, it's okay, and when you need to defend yourself. But when we experience it for weeks, for months, and even years without relief, we don't recover from these cortisol spikes, which become the norm. Is clearly really hurting our health. Isn't that something? So, research suggests, for example, that chronic stress is associated with high blood pressure, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and arthritis. Another potential effect, weight gain. Because cortisol can increase blood sugar and impact the body's insulin level, it can lead to belly fat as well as other weight gain, Thompson says. It can also break down muscle tissue, which lowers your metabolism. It makes sense that chronically elevated cortisol levels are causing a lot of problems, including obesity, increased weight, hypertension, insulin resistance, and diabetes. Isn't this helping us? This is really informative. For me, it is. And this is what Thompson is telling us. So, exactly how long it takes for lingering stress to exact this toll will vary from person to person, he adds. The problem is how long it takes us to recognize we're in that period of stress. Sometimes we don't know what it is and we just continue going and going, and sometimes it ends up being too late. Next, a break doesn't have to be a vacation. A break does not have to be a vacation. I'm still in time.com, and you see our topic right there on the screen. Okay? A break doesn't have to be a vacation, but yes, you need to take a break. I need to take a break, and I do. So make it a point to check in with yourself every day about how you're feeling and what you need. Fields advises 30 seconds will suffice. The important thing is to make it part of your routine. It's a pulse on how you're doing, she says, and you'll collect information that can help you make meaningful lifestyle changes. So if you realize your body is pushing you toward a break, don't let the idea create even more stress. You don't necessarily need to take a week off work or submit a request for a sabbatical. Claiming just a few minutes of downtime throughout the day can make a difference, Phil says. Shut your phone off for 5 minutes. Draw in an adult coloring book. I do that. Yes, I do. Or call someone you love. She likes to do a quick intentional breathing exercise. Breathe in for 3 to 5 counts and then exhale for the same number. This is wonderful. Maisel likes to take short breaks throughout the day, usually centered around movement. She aims to climb 20 flights of stairs daily. She might step away from her computer, for example, to go upstairs to water a plant, which helps keep stress at bay. So instead of saving up for this big dose of calm and relaxation, think about how you can strategically and intentionally pepper breaks throughout your day. King says, when you wake up or you're heading to work for school or you're in transition, what are your what are the things you could be doing that allow your spikes to come back down? What are the things you could be doing? Whatever you do, she says, it needs to be something you find pleasurable or fun. For King, that means squeezing in one song dance parties throughout the day. That's nice. She pops up in her office and starts bouncing and shaking. Taking a brief respite allows your body to metabolize some of what you've been taking in, she says. So we're soothing our or energizing or offering ourselves whatever we might need to come back down to baseline and to feel ready for whatever's coming next. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That is so good. I like it. I like it. I like it. That's time.com. So we have time for another. That was four signs your body is telling you it's time to take a break. Okay, I need a break. 12 signs of burnout. And this is healthline.com. Healthline.com. 12 signs you need to take a break ASAP, as soon as possible. And this is medically reviewed by Janet Brito, PhD, LCSWCST S, and it's written by Cindy Lamoth on October 31st, 2019. And this is healthline.com. Running errands, keeping up with an ever growing pile of laundry, caring for a small person while juggling work, it can all become a bit much. By the time you lie down for the night, your head is spinning with an endless to do list that only keeps growing. So, symptoms of burnout can vary from person to person, but if you notice any of the following signs in yourself, it may be time to take a step back and slow down. We have to realize this. It may be time. Okay, so if any of these signs, symptoms come up, it may be time to step back and take a break. Number one, you're restless. One big sign that you may be taking on too much is never feeling well rested. Maybe you aren't taking enough breaks at work or frantically hopping from one project to the next without slowing down. And those of us, we tend to do that. Oh, yes, we do. But we have got to take notice and take heed to what these authors and these researchers are telling us. When you finally do attempt to relax, you have a hard time sitting still or quieting your mind. This can make it hard to recharge when you need it most. That is so true. Thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate you. I really do. Number two, you're awake at all hours of the night. Sleep is one of the first things to suffer when you get stressed or overwhelmed. Take notice if you're staying up extra hours trying to finish a project or begin waking up at odd hours without being able to fall back asleep. You may also be dealing with insomnia if you've had sleep disturbances at least 3 nights a week for at least 3 months. Next, your sleep problems are creating major distress or causing problems in your ability to function. You might have insomnia. Those signs are present, okay? Number three, you're eating differently. Changes in your eating habits can also be a good indicator of when you need to take a break. In some cases, you might notice yourself eating less than usual or skipping meals without realizing it. Or you might find that you're eating more than usual and always on the hunt for a snack, even if you're not hungry. Both scenarios can be a sign of stress. Anxiety and depression can take many forms. My goodness. Number four, you have no motivation. This is signs that you need to stop and take a break. And this is healthline.com. Number four, you have no motivation. Dragging yourself to your job or losing interest in things you once enjoyed can mean you've reached the point of burnout. Where you once, or were you once, the go to person for organizing social events at work, but can no longer muster the motivation. High stress levels can turn activities you once enjoyed into monotonous tasks you do out of obligations. Number five, you're sick all the time. These are signs that you need to step back and take a break now. Okay? You can do it because let me tell you this. If you have a breakdown mentally or physically, if you have a breakdown, you're going to take that time off anyway. So think about it. When you feel these signs, you know that these signs are affecting you. You need to take a break, okay? If you're sick all the time, this is number five. Can't knock that one cold, keep getting knocked out every time a bug goes around the office. Frequent illness may be a sign that stress is having an impact on your immune system. Too much stress may lower your body's ability to fight off infection. Very, very, very good information. Number six, you feel zapped of energy. Excessive stress can leave you feeling physically and mentally exhausted, even after 9 hours of sleep. You might find that it's taking you an extra 10 minutes to get out the door in the morning, or your usual workout is feeling extra difficult, even through And though nothing's changed, okay, you may feel that your usual workout is extra difficult, even though nothing has changed. These are good signs, and they are very important. Number 7, you have a hard time concentrating. Are you struggling to follow what's being said during a meeting? Or do you find yourself rereading the same 2 lines when you try to unwind with a good book? No one is immune to mild forgetfulness or off days from time to time. I'm going to repeat that. So just because you might have this one time might not mean that you're going off into a stressful frenzy, okay? No one is immune to mind forgetfulness or off days from time to time. But if you find that your usual tasks are taking longer or feel harder to get through, you may have too much on your plate. Number 8, you feel indifferent about your life. It's normal to feel a bit down every once in a while when it comes to your work or other responsibilities, but you should not constantly feel demoralized by what you do. Your daily activities and tasks should give you a sense of satisfaction and achievement after completing them. Waiting for the time to pass you by or generally feeling bored all the time makes it hard to feel connected and engaged, which can signal an oncoming burnout. Number 9, you're getting cynical or negative. You're getting cynical or negative. These are signs that let you know it's time to stop, take a break, and recuperate, okay? Number 9, you're getting cynical or negative. Are you snapping at people more often than not? Is everyone getting on your last nerve? In the beginning, burnout can look like mild tension and irritability, but it can quickly turn into angry outbursts at work or at home. You may not even know what you're mad about, just that you're in a permanent state of cranky. Paying attention to your frustration can help you determine whether you're overreacting to minor annoyances. So, here are some questions to ask yourself. Have you become increasingly impatient with coworkers lately? Do you have more frequent outbursts after a challenging day? Have you screamed or snapped at an innocent bystander and felt shocked afterward? Number 10, you're withdrawn. Find yourself turning down plans to go out or making up excuses to avoid social plans. Solo time is important and necessary, but when you're under a lot of stress, it can isolate you and potentially damage your relationships. So look at how often you avoid going out and seeing people and whether you used to be a lot more social. Number 11, you're self medicating. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger, danger. That's what the robot would say to Will in Lost in Space. Danger, Will Robinson. Number 11, you're self medicating. Do you fix yourself a quick drink as soon as you walk in the door after work? And we see that on TV. Oh, in so many movies. I probably almost every movie. I mean, more times than not. When a person walks in the door, they're going over there getting their drink, whether it's wine, what is it, liquor, whatever it is. They have to get their drink. Do you fix yourself a quick drink as soon as you walk in the door or after work, or keep marijuana in your back pocket for your commute home? There's nothing wrong with doing this from time to time, but make sure you're not relying on drugs or alcohol as a tool for coping with stress. Consider seeking help or new relaxation techniques if you notice that you can't stay away from a particular substance even if you want to. You find yourself needing more of the substance to achieve the same effects. You experience withdrawal symptoms when you go without the substance. You spend most of your day looking forward to or thinking about using a substance. This is what you have to really be aware of. If you start self medicating, that's 11. Number 12, you aren't enjoying your favorite things. You are not enjoying your favorite things. These are signs that you need to stop, step back, take a break, and recoup. Losing interest in things you once loved is a telltale sign that something's not quite right. If going to the movies or dining out with friends was once fulfilling but has started to feel pointless, it's a time to take a step back. Now, I would like to say this. My point of view is that sometimes that acquaintance or friendship might be toxic and uh, what is it, detrimental to you, okay, your well-being, your health, your emotion, whatever. Sometimes there are relationships that are designed as friendship, but you are on the losing end. Remember, I talked about the background friend. So if it's that situation, then that doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. It means that you're just taking over your life and you are leaving those relationships behind or making them far and in between when you see those people. So that's a different thing, okay? But what we're talking about now is when you get stressed out, when you know it's time, and you these things are happening and you don't understand. It said you are not enjoying your favorite things. Losing interest in things you once loved is a telltale sign that something's not quite right. If going to the movies or dining out with friends was once fulfilling but has started to feel pointless, it's time to take a step back. And I explained why. Sometimes it's not the stress, not that you need to uh, take a break, but yeah, you need to take a break from those people, and sometimes a permanent break from some certain people. Okay, feeling apathetic about things you once loved can be a sign of burnout, but it can also be a symptom of depression. So here's the bottom line, and we're in health line. Here's the bottom line. Everyone needs a break from time to time, but it can be hard to recognize when it's time to hit pause. If you find yourself feeling a bit off or doing things different than you used to, you may need a break from your daily grind. Not sure how to get started? These 10 tips to be feelings of overwhelm can help. So you may also want to consider reaching out to a therapist For additional support, they can help you identify major sources of stress in your life and help you come up with ways to prioritize your own well being. Now, keep in mind that many of these signs that I did read to you, okay? Keep in mind that many of these signs overlap with symptoms of depression. If you find that these feelings persist even after taking a restful break, it's worth following up with a mental health professional. It's worth it, okay? It's worth it. And don't you worry about what people might say. You don't have to tell everybody what you're doing, but you need to tell the closest person to you if you're going to see a mental health professional, if you're going to counseling, whatever you're going to do, someone you trust needs to know what's happening with you, okay? Someone needs to know. You are awesome. I appreciate you being here. I thank you for being here with me on Point of View with Ms. Shirley Polk. And tomorrow, God willing, will be the Mother's Board Inc. with myself and Dr. J. McCollister. And Saturday evening at 7:39 p.m. is Saturday evening Bible lesson session. And Sunday morning at 7 a.m. is Sunday morning manna from heaven, and that's Greater Gospel Temple Church of Praise and Worship and Inspiration of God Ministries. And Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. is Point of View with Miss Shirley Polk. On Monday morning, 5 minutes of prayer. Monday morning, 5 minutes of prayer. Monday morning. And then on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. is from the Biblical Files of Dr. Mack with J.J. McCollister. I pray and trust that you are doing well. I thank you all for all of the wonderful birthday wishes, greetings for my favorite daughter, Gail Malvern, and we really had a wonderful time with celebrating with her. And on her birthday, which was the 5th of August, it was absolutely wonderful. And I thank God for the health and strength. I thank God for my children and for my son, who always thinks about his mommy. And my daughter does too, but especially on the birthdays, they think about each other and make sure that I get to be with them in one shape, form, or fashion. They know their mommy. And so my favorite son made plans and he initiated them and got his mommy and himself there to celebrate his favorite sister's birthday. I love you all and I appreciate you so much. And I know I repeat myself when I say these things, but I cannot be thankful enough that God has blessed me with these avenues on the World Wide Web to be able to share so much with each of you. And I ask you again to share these webcasts because someone, somewhere, needs this information. Someone, somewhere right now is having a nervous breakdown. Their body is breaking down on them, shutting down on them. We all need this information. I love you so much, and I thank you for being here. You are awesome. And like I say, God is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So when is it time to shut it down, take a break, and recuperate? This is Ms. Shirley Polk signing off right now. God willing, we'll be on tomorrow at 1 p.m. I love you so much, And I really, really appreciate you. Hi, Carol. Thank you so much for being here. I see your name. Your name is the only one I see, but everybody else too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy the remainder of your day, night, evening, afternoon, morning, midday, whichever it is you're having the opportunity to listen to this webcast.